Hi, this is Alexis from the Kiteboarder magazine. We're here at AWSI in Hood River 2021 Naish. I'm here with Nils and Ewan, and you've got some amazing foils that, like, you guys were like at the forefront.
We got in super early. We had the good fortune to have Kite on our team, and Kite came to us in 2016 and said he was starting to play around with foils. He knew I had a background in yacht design and all that kind of thing, and would I be interested, and I was interested. So we jumped in very early, and yeah, it's been a good run. And now I feel like we're really getting to a point where you can see the whole industry, everybody's advancing. There's like this is actual technology. It's not people like making stuff in their garage and taking a wild guess at what a little mini airplane wing would look like and sticking on the end of a stick. Like, people are doing stuff. Like, I just did a 3 Years America's Cup campaign. We've got like top level testers like Ewan here that are giving us, you know, really solid empirical feedback, and yeah, it's been a good run.
Well, let's go through the line.
All right. So basically our kite line is, we're really making two dedicated kite foils. We're making a 650 and an 810. They have the same DNA. This is a kind of a slight delta outline that I've been working with on and off for quite a few years. These are pretty advanced in terms of sections. These are all the designs, all the prototypes we do. I'm actually doing pretty decent fidelity CFD modeling, and then also there's always a component of just design, like you're just having an understanding of, you know, flow and how stuff comes off wingtips. These fall into similar. The overall performance characteristics are similar, but this one is obviously easier, gets up earlier, goes downrange a little better, whereas this one is, you know, faster. They're both very controllable. I mean, do you want to talk about the performance characteristics?
I mean, kind of the thing that I've been really enjoying about them is not only can I teach my friends and stuff on it, but I can go out and blast around full high speed, and I think Nils will probably go into a little bit more of the design, but the wingtips as well, the faster you go, they start creating a little bit of downforce, which evens out the foot balance. So you're not finding when you're pushing it that you're hitting a top speed where you're having to like hang 5 over the nose of your board to keep it down. It really keeps like an even foot pressure throughout all the speeds. And also that same design kind of helps you really give that surfy, carvy feel, which is something that is pretty unique in such a fast foil. There's not many foils where you can push them to 40 miles an hour but also feel like you can carve around and surf on them, which most like race type foils you would never have that.
Pretty much straight line dragsters.
Yeah, exactly. And this one has got that speed if you really want to push it, but free ride performance and carving and popping the wingtips out, all that kind of fun stuff, they still do that. So pretty all round, and we've actually had a bunch of riders from other brands come over and test our stuff in the last few days, and they've been pretty blown away. I've heard a few of them couldn't shut up after riding them, so that's pretty nice to hear and see as well, with all this technology out here, as he was saying, and all these amazing brands pushing forward, and our stuff's really standing out.
Awesome. Now, you want to go into more specifics of each one of these wings, or do you want to?
I can talk. It'd be good to talk about, because since the DNA is similar, it's the same family. I mean, I can talk. What he's describing really is this wing is designed to have not an elliptical lift distribution, but it's actually a bell-shaped distribution, which means that the wingtips are washed out, so slightly twisted, almost like the top of a sail. I'm a sail designer, and at high speeds, as the angle of attack drops, the wingtip actually goes completely neutral, and then at some point actually goes slightly negative, which creates a downforce, and that gives you just incredible control at speed. There's a very slight lift cost, or drag cost rather, but that's a Prandtl wing structure. This basic is a different way of looking at wings. But the other advantage of that system is, like he says, because once we're going, we're not really generating significant lift here. If you pierce the surface, there's no real pressure differential at the wingtip between the top and bottom. So once you come through the surface, there's no tendency for that pressure differential to create a ventilation that causes the whole wing to explode. So this is a fast wing that you can really push hard on turns, like he says, without risk, which makes it just really comfortable for wide, whatever you're trying to do. Go fast, just ride. So that's the philosophy in it.
Awesome. Now you've got some incredible masts here in different variations. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, Naish was the first in with the concept that we were going to make a modular system. So when we set out to get into the foil business in 2016, one of the first things we looked at was, we know it's going to advance, there's going to be changes, it's going to be incremental in some places, it's going to be radical in other areas. We want to make something that people could invest in a Naish setup, and then they could just keep upgrading if they wanted to. Oh, we came out with a new, better mast, you can get that. We've improved the fuselage, you can just plug that in. Here's some really new hot wings. You don't have to buy the whole setup, you can just buy the wings. So that was the basis of that. And currently we offer, what are we, 3 fuselages? 4.
Right now we have 4.
Yeah, so currently we have 4 different fuselages, different lengths, but we have our basic dedicated Kite fuselage, we have a shorter one. And then for masts, we offer 3 mast technologies. So we have what I believe is the lightest aluminum mast on the market. And it's a really clean, low drag section, not tiny, because it has, with aluminum, you have this thing where the external dimension, there's a point where you have to get everything right to hit the weight targets and everything. And then these bonded and combination bonded mechanical ends on it. And that's our basis mast. And then from there, we go to a C30, which is a composite mast, 30% carbon. And the advantage of this mast is because it's composites, we can make it a little smaller. And when you're talking about masts, basically you're looking at its parasitic drag. So the less drag you have with the mast, it's not a lifting surface unless you're, it's basically not a lifting surface. So you're looking at reducing drag. And you're going to do that by reducing the scale of it. It has less area. So if you've got 30 centimeters of this mast immersed, it's got 15% less area than the equivalent aluminum. And then from there, we go to the full carbon. So this one is the same outside dimensions as our C30, but because it's full carbon, it has much more torsional stiffness and bending stiffness, which means for kiting particularly, where you're tending to use long mast lengths because of the high cant angles, this is like the optimum go-to mast. And the advantage of, everybody talks about bending and torsion. I believe as a designer, the most critical thing is probably still torsion, because if you imagine the board is your steering wheel, and this is basically the wheels on the road, and any elasticity in that connection is going to reduce your ability to control your equipment at speed. But the bending is important also because it means you can load up more quickly. It just means faster accelerations. You can imagine a mast that bends sideways. If you get some kind of burst of energy from the kite that could turn into acceleration, if the foil can move like this, you're going to lose a percentage of that. So.
Awesome. Now, where can we find more of the technical information on both these?
Yeah, I probably got way too deep into that, but there's a lot more information on the Naish website, www.naishkites.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.